here's the writer's Allman Brother for Friday, January 9th, 2026. It's the birthday of socialite, playwright, memoirist, and noted horn dog lady Randolph Churchill. Born 1854 in Brooklyn, it wasn't provincial enough for her, so she traveled to jolly old classism, England, where the first Viscount of d'Abernon told her she looked like a panther. She met her first husband, Randolph Henry Adolphus Mannersmith carriage jockey Tabitha Generation Spencer Churchill, between quaffs of absinthe at the anti-immigration polo grounds. Gave birth first to a guy who smoked cigars, drank whiskey, and ran England for a while. Then his brother, who has a Wikipedia page strictly by dint of whom he's related to. After that marriage dissolved, Lady Randolph Churchill set about embarrassing her children by sleeping with men who were increasingly younger than them. First, the military captain George Cornwallis West, and then a colonial servant named Brad Clitoris East, who tolerated her multiple conquests until she began tattooing each subsequent lover's entire family lineage on her ample bosom and parading topless through Covent Garden, cradling a lizard. When infidelity grew tiresome, she turned to playwriting. The review of her first West End comedy in the New York Times contains the word brill fancy, which is the most interesting thing about it. Today is the birthday of Judith Krantz, queen of the humping and destroying one's own credit subgenre of grown-up fairy tales. Her novels often featured Yale graduates roaming naked through high-end shopping centers, hurling Amex cards and dildos at each other. They became immensely popular with intellectually masochistic beachgoers and ESL students hoping to get kicked out of respectable restaurants. Krantz's debut effort, How Do You Spell Scruples, didn't come out until she was 50 years old, much to the relief of her two children, who were both grown and out of the house by then. It contains the passage, Ralph hurled Lauren up against the bathroom door with one Armani. She couldn't Fendi him off. Suddenly, she found her Finnegans wrapped around his Vera Wang, causing him to Holzweiler with pleasure. He knew this would cost them both, especially if Victor and Rolf found out. Oh, FC UK it, he thought, as he Burberried his Helmut Lang into her equipment. And it's the birthday of Beat Generation forefather Herbert Hunke, the world's first syringe baby. His embryo was shot into the femoral artery of William Burroughs and then vomited into the lap of Allen Ginsberg during a seance at Katz's Deli, at which time the journalist Lucien Carr took a sip of his malted, called the server over, and said, I'll have what he's having. Hunke coined the phrase beat after a doctor asked him what he typically did with his eggs in the morning. The doctor had actually said legs, and then asked if that's why Hunke's thighs were so speckled with bruises. Hunke said, no, and then swiped a Dilaudid suppository from the doctor's raincoat when he was out of the room. He documented this and other mundane crimes on 13 yellow legal pads he later used to elevate his black and white television to the ideal height for hypnotizing his invisible enemies, all of which he said were either cockroaches, mafia spiders wearing capes, or Jack Kerouac in a pink diaper snacking on amphetamines. Herbert Hunke, who traveled extensively within an ashtray in the lobby of the Chelsea Hotel and ultimately died of being Herbert Hunke. Here's a poem for today by Sylvia Jones, entitled Man with Shotgun and Alien, after Noah Davis's Man with Alien and Shotgun 2008, oil and acrylic on canvas. Selling 2-minute clocks, high above an out-of-focus past, invisible from the street, my first decapitation was a sweetheart in the back seat hereafter of a good pollen-covered car, glass-arched, under the whirring ceiling fan, pounding mornings in the floor with my moonroof forehead. The more cars they make, the more people die. All it takes is a half-inch of another moment's thigh. Sometimes it's good to be afraid of the future. It's the year of that feeling everyone has when they're dancing, and I'm not lonely because I'm friends with my neighbors. And my childhood home is an Airbnb, is a brothel of vacationing millennials and hallelujah money. It's the bootstrap trick mirror, waiting with bated breath. I lost my face, or the face I had. When you're inside the bank, everyone knows you're robbing it. The more cars they make, the more people die. When was the last time we had fun? Man with Shotgun and Alien by Sylvia Jones. Inspired by a painting by Noah Davis and used without permission here on the writer's Allman Brother. Supported by Smokey Jane Witch Doctor, making bacon-flavored barrettes since your mother was a child. Until next week, be well, spill the wine, and dig that girl.